Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome all of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is, of course, the Lightning Flash update for May 4th, 2018. May the 4th be with you all. Now, why don't we start off with the weekly show reviews. Monday Night Raw. Honestly, do you expect any different? Monday Night Raw was nothing but, wow, 2 to 3 highlights. What else is new? Monday Night Raw offering nothing but 2 or 3 highlights on a 3-hour show. Raw kicked off with Roman Reigns, of all people. Great way to start the show. He came out and he basically stated that he was the real Universal Champion. Yes, some babyface Roman is. Coming out whining and complaining about, oh my God, I should be the Universal Champion because my feet hit the floor first. And, I'm a full-timer. I want to stop Brock Lesnar from beating CM Punk's record. I'm so courageous. Might I also mention, it's been going around on social media for the past week now, that what happened at the Greatest Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns' left foot was on the apron. His left foot did not touch the floor. Meanwhile, Lesnar rolled off the side of the cage. So, Brock Lesnar is still champion. Sorry to rain on your parade, but Roman lost. And then Jinder Mahal comes out. Of all people, Jinder Mahal comes out to interrupt Roman. And might I also mention that Jinder Mahal was cheered for 5 seconds. Of all people, Jinder Mahal, the same Jinder Mahal that had a 12-month-long terrible WWE Championship reign, the same Jinder Mahal that can't cut a decent promo for his life, can't put on a decent match for his life, that Jinder Mahal was cheered for 5 seconds over Roman Reigns. So if you need any more evidence that Roman Reigns is a failure as a babyface, there you go. Jinder Mahal, of all people, got cheered over Roman. Sami Zayn then came out, Kevin Owens came out, and the popularity for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, man, we really do need another WrestleMania over in Montreal. Could you imagine what Montreal's Raw after Mania could be like? They hosted a popularity contest, and then the three of them beat down on Roman Reigns. Lashley and Strowman then came out to help Roman, and I don't know if you caught this, but half of the crowd was booing Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley for helping and supporting Roman. So Roman now has an adverse effect on everyone. He transforms heels into baby faces and baby faces into heels. Moving on, before I get too caught up in that. Elias versus Bobby Roode. This was actually one of the highlights on the show. This was much better than their first match. It was turning into a good match. And Elias defeated Bobby Roode via technicality because Elias threw Bobby Roode's throat into the steel rod between the post and the turnbuckle. I don't know if you caught that. So this is not the end. I'm assuming that these two are going to brawl for another few more weeks. I hope it results in a Bobby Roode heel turn because I would love to see a Bobby Roode heel versus guys like Finn Balor, guys like Seth Rollins. You can throw in guys like that. Maybe you could do a Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor versus Bobby Roode. It offers a lot more opportunities than a face Bobby Roode. Authors of Pain defeated some jobbers, and they cut a promo after the match. They basically stated that, everyone is going to have their own chapter in the Book of Pain, and destruction awaits the tag team division. Excuse me. Rollins came out, and, man, the crowd went crazy for Rollins. The crowd went absolutely crazy for Rollins. They were doing Olay chants. They were doing Burn It Down chants. I didn't even understand some of the chants. But they were going crazy for Rollins, and Rollins says he wants to be a fighting champion. And then you got Rollins supporting Roman Reigns. So now they're using the most over guy on Monday Night Raw along with Braun Strowman. So they're using Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins, the most over guy and the second most over guy on Monday Night Raw, to put over Roman. It just gets worse and worse week in and week out. But Balor then came out, and Balor issued out an Intercontinental Championship challenge to Rollins. And what happened? Of course, Rollins accepted, but not without the Miztourage coming out. And the Miztourage had faces, each one of their faces on t-shirts. They tried to reform the Four Horsemen knockoff. And Balor and Rollins, they took them out. And then Balor took out Rollins as a reminder that Balor is still there. Balor is still in Rollins' sights. Moving on to a second highlight of the show, Ruby Riott defeated Sasha Banks. And this was a very good match. Ruby Riott again putting herself on the map against a top female performer. And Sasha Banks, of course, Sasha Banks continued to being Sasha Banks. Sasha having a great match, and her opponent taking the win over her. Sasha Banks really needs a lengthy women's championship reign. I'm sorry. Then we go from a great women's match to another retarded Alexa Bliss segment. Kill me. Kill me now. Kill me. I swear. I'm not even joking. WWE is going to give me another concussion. They are going to put me out of commission for another couple days. I'd much rather have that than watch this again. Doing another retarded bullying segment. My God, please. Have Nia Jax just crush her at Backlash and we can move on. Maybe get Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. Nia Jax versus Ruby Riott. Anything but Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Push Alexa down the ladder. She does not deserve to be in the top main event female programs anymore. Titus O'Neil and Baron Corbin had a segment backstage before Corbin's match with No Way Jose. That was just that. Titus World Slide, all that, blah, blah, blah. Corbin thinks it's a joke. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy had a promo, and it was actually a pretty entertaining promo. They're a very entertaining duo. Lashley, Reigns, and Strowman then defeated Jinder, Sammy, and Owens. I really did not care about this match. I really did not care about this match, no matter how loud the crowd was, and no matter how good some of the wrestling was. This match did absolutely nothing for me. It was a waste of a spot on Raw. Let's get some cruiserweights on Raw again. After what they did this week on 205 Live, the storylines over there are much more compelling than the storylines on Monday Night Raw. No Way Jose then defeated Baron Corbin due to interference from Titus O'Neil. Natalya defeated Mickie James as Ronda Rousey chased Alexa Bliss around the ring. No one really cared. Lashley and Strowman versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was set for Backlash. Because why not? McIntyre and Ziggler had a promo. I expect big things for that duo. And this was the final highlight of the show. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a great match. Great match all around. The crowd made it much better than it was. We had some great back and forth between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Great counters. Swift moves. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, they're reaching New Day Usos territory. Never having a bad match. Very much looking forward to what they're going to do with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Seth Rollins, the right man to win. Seth Rollins continues to ride his wave of momentum into Backlash against The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. But then again, yeah, 3 highlights on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, great show. SmackDown Live did no different. SmackDown Live did the exact same thing that Monday Night Raw did. SmackDown Live was barely a 2-highlight show. Paige started off the show, and she makes AJ versus Nakamura at Backlash a no disqualifications match. I like that decision. Miz TV was hosted by The Miz, who else? And they had Jeff Hardy as a guest. By the way, it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton at Backlash for the U.S. title. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that match. I think that could be one of the potential matches of the night. Orton basically came out and he vowed to take his title back. Benjamin then came out, and I was hoping Benjamin would come out. He basically stated that he should be the one challenging for the United States Championship because he pinned Randy Orton. Chaos ensued, and what do you think happened? Paige, channeling her inner Teddy Long, we got a tag team match, and Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy defeated Benjamin and The Miz. No matter how good the wrestling was, and no matter how much the crowd made the match even better, I really didn't care. And Randy Orton RKO'd Jeff Hardy after the match. Carmella and the Iconics cut a promo backstage. This is where I actually stepped away. I actually stepped away to go brush my teeth, get myself a bottle of water. I didn't really care for this segment. Neither did I care for the New Day bar segment, as Xavier Woods and Sheamus set up a match for later on in the show. Lana and Rusev had a conversation, and Lana basically stated that Rusev was being held back. You're damn right he's being held back, but let me tell you something. You were motioning to Aiden English. It's not Aiden English. No. It's Road Dogg. It's Vince McMahon. It's WWE Creative that is holding Rusev down. Okay? Instead of talking to Rusev on ditching Aiden English, why don't you talk Rusev into giving a Machka kick and the accolade on Road Dogg? I think that would knock some sense into his old shriveled up brain. Big Cass cut a promo, and once again, he did sound good. I'm not going to take anything away from Big Cass. He basically stated that he's going to put on a 5-second match. He's going to destroy Daniel Bryan. He called for Daniel Bryan to come out, and he brings out a midget dressed like Daniel Bryan. Another concept that WWE has beaten to death. It was funny the first time around when Kurt Angle and that little midget played John Cena and Kurt Angle back in 2004, 2005. That's when it was funny. Little People's Court with DX, that's when it was funny. This is not funny anymore. You do it once, twice, 3 times at most, and then you stop. He just beat down the midget. That's it. That's it. They were having a decent build toward Backlash, but then you have this pathetic segment. And you wonder why we complain. And you wonder why we voice our opinions to the likes of Vince McMahon and Road Dogg. You wonder. AJ Styles had an interview with Renee Young. He vowed to destroy Shinsuke Nakamura. This was actually one of the top highlights of the show. Samoa Joe came out and he vowed to come after Styles and take the WWE title, which allowed Nakamura to come up from behind, deliver a low blow, and a Kinshasa. Nakamura better win the title on Sunday. That's all I got to say about that. Xavier Woods then defeated Sheamus. I really didn't care. Mandy Rose versus Becky Lynch was announced for next week. Andrade Cien Almas is coming soon. I can't wait to see Almas. My God, this show needs Almas. Almas doesn't need WWE. WWE needs Almas. That's how good he is. And then Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte defeated Carmella and the Iconics. Again, same thing to the tag match on Raw. I didn't care no matter how loud the crowd was, no matter how good Charlotte wrestled, no matter how good Asuka looked, and no matter how good the wrestling was. I did not care. 205 Live, man. 205 Live. Once again, putting on a great show. The storylines on 205 Live, A+. 205 Live recently has been doing no wrong. Except for one thing, and I'm going to talk about it. Gentleman Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick defeated Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa was going for the senton. Itami hit the ropes and caused Tozawa to fall. That gave Gentleman Jack Gallagher the opportunity to deliver the headbutt. And Gallagher and Kendrick win. And then Itami actually shoved Tozawa down and walked out on him. I do not like that decision because though a feud with Itami and Tozawa sounds very good, I do not like the fact of them splitting up because I'm really liking the team of Itami and Tozawa. I think they would be great representations for the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships. It was a good match for what it was, but I really don't want to see Itami and Tozawa split just yet. They just formed like a couple months ago. Buddy Murphy returned to 205 Live. Buddy Murphy. This is a Buddy Murphy that I could get behind. I got behind him before, but now I am 1,000% one of his biggest fans. Buddy Murphy, he had his weigh-in, and after his weigh-in, he did not shake Maverick's hand. He just said, I want my title match. And then he proved it in the match against a jobber. He destroyed the jobber. Powerbomb City. 3 powerbombs in a row, and he won via TKO. A cocky, condescending, badass Buddy Murphy is a damn good Buddy Murphy. This storyline has been played out perfectly, and it played out even more perfectly because Cedric came out and attacked Buddy Murphy. I cannot wait to see Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship. And get this, next week, we got Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. On top of that, we got Kendrick and Gallagher versus the Lucha House Party. 205 Live continuing and continuing and continuing to build progressive storylines and continuing to put on A-plus shows. And that main event, Drew Gulak versus Kalisto, stole the show. Stole the show this week in wrestling. Drew Gulak and Kalisto, fantastic chemistry. Not as good as Drew Gulak and Mustafa Ali, but still very good. Kalisto went back and forth. Drew Gulak did his best to keep Kalisto grounded. Kalisto came back with the patented Listo kick, springboard crossbody, and that big tope con hero to the outside. And they actually ushered a "This is awesome" chant. Montreal. WWE, they really gotta come back to you for Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live more often. Montreal. I'm loving Montreal. Drew Gulak got the win. With the Gulak, obviously, Drew Gulak needed the win to further enhance his character. And obviously, we are going to get Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese somewhere down the line. No Tony Nese tonight. No Tony Nese for that night. He's coming. And it could very well result in a no disqualifications match in the future. Now, on to NXT. NXT, very entertaining episode. The Undisputed Era, they kicked off the show and they mocked their competition. They basically stated that they're above everyone else. Roderick Strong was going to destroy Pete Dunne in the main event. Undisputed Era, man, they're becoming one of my most favorite factions I think I have ever seen. You know, forget about the Shield. Forget about Evolution. Forget about all that. Forget about the Straight Edge Society. Undisputed Era is where it's at. Show started off with Kairi Sane defeating Shazza McKenzie. Nice to see Shazza McKenzie back. Lacey Evans then came out and she appeared to show respect to Kairi Sane, only to deliver a nasty right hand. That right hand from Lacey Evans, that's a nasty right hook there. And Kairi Sane went down. So obviously, Kairi Sane and Lacey Evans are going to be feuding for a while before Kairi Sane challenges for the NXT Women's Championship. Candice LeRae having an interview backstage. I like that they're using Candice LeRae to further enhance the storyline with Ciampa and Gargano. Very good stuff. How she's just emotionally distraught. Ciampa's ruining her life. We thought we were done with this. Very nice stuff there. TM61 versus the Street Profits. I was actually expecting this to get a lot more time than it did. It didn't even go 6 minutes. TM61 won with the feet on the ropes. Shane Thorne rolled up Montez Ford, and Nick Miller held Shane Thorne's feet down. So, heel turn for TM61. I'm not really against it, but I think they're better as baby faces. It was a decent match for what it was, but I feel though they got shafted. And you know, this episode of NXT was pretty packed. They just stuffed this episode of NXT with so many matches and so many segments that it was overflowing. You know, it's episodes like this that make me want NXT to extend to 2 hours. I really think that NXT would benefit from 2 hours because I think that TM61 and the Street Profits should have gone at least 12 minutes. And then obviously you got Bianca Belair and Candice LeRae. Bianca Belair defeated Candice LeRae later on in the show. That could have easily gone 10 minutes. I would have really liked to see much more time given to these matches. The only match that I feel got the proper amount of time was Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Next week, we got the War Raiders versus Heavy Machinery. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that match. I hope it gets the proper amount of time, because that match, that's a true Clash of the Titans right there. Cassius Ohno, he vowed to make Tommaso Ciampa feel helpless. I like this. I like that they're now using Cassius Ohno and Candice LeRae to further the storyline. And we got a match next week between Tommaso Ciampa and Cassius Ohno. That's a very interesting match. Kona Reeves, the finest Kona Reeves, made his debut. He is very aggressive. I am going to give him a lot of credit. He's very aggressive, and he's just dripping in charisma, just oozing charisma, coming out in a squeaky clean white jacket with purple sunglasses, gold jewelry. We had Kona Reeves just showing off with a huge smile on his face and just beating the hell out of Patrick Scott. Good so far. Very good so far. And obviously, Kona Reeves isn't going to reveal the entire package, his first match back in NXT, unless it's Shinsuke Nakamura, because Shinsuke Nakamura gave you everything he had in that match with Sami Zayn. But Kona Reeves is not Shinsuke Nakamura. So I expected it to be quick squash, nothing too fancy, and slowly, month by month, we're going to see Kona Reeves grow, and we're going to see him develop in the ring and on the microphone. But very good so far by Kona Reeves. EC3 is making his debut next week on NXT television against Raul Mendoza. Very interested to seeing how EC3 looks after that brutal ladder match. Dakota Kai and Vanessa Bourne, they had a segment backstage with a bunch of interviewers, or really outside the arena with a bunch of interviewers. And I'm assuming this is going to set up for Vanessa Bourne versus Dakota Kai, which I would not be against. Bianca Belair defeated Candice LeRae, as I stated. And then in the main event, Pete Dunne was assaulted by the Undisputed Era midway through his match with Roderick Strong. It was turning into a good match, by the way. And then after the match was over, the bell rang, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch then evened the odds. Now, here's what I think's going to happen. I don't think they're going to give away this six-man tag team match on regular NXT television. What I think's going to happen is that I think that we are going to get a six-man tag team match, but it's not going to happen on NXT television. It's going to happen at TakeOver Chicago 2. And why? Because you have a huge opportunity here to do a six-man tag team winners-take-all match. Adam Cole will put the North American title up on the line. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong will put the tag team titles on the line. And, of course, Pete Dunne will put the UK Championship on the line. Then, what you can do, you can have Roderick Strong pin Pete Dunne, gain the United Kingdom Championship, and further enhance the Undisputed Era. Add another championship to the Undisputed Era. That way, when Kyle O'Reilly comes back in a month or two, Bobby Fish comes back in a month or two, Bobby Fish has a championship, Kyle O'Reilly has a title, Adam Cole has a championship, and Roderick Strong has a championship. That's what I want to see at TakeOver Chicago 2. Very good episode of NXT. Now, onto the news, rumors, and reports. I have some news, rumors, and reports here for you. No lightning flash rundown for you. That is going to be a special occasion video from time to time. Starting off my news, rumors, and reports section of the lightning flash update, I am doing my weekly shout out to Mr. Slice Wrestling, as of course follow him at Slice Wrestling on Twitter. And I quote one of his tweets, "Report. WWE officials are discussing possible men's Money in the Bank winners, such as Samoa Joe, Andrade Almas, The Miz, Kevin Owens, The Drifter." For those of you who do not know, The Drifter is, of course, Elias. However, I have a report that I read yesterday that actually contradicts this plan. So Elias might not be one of the potential Money in the Bank ladder match winners. Per Ringside News, with Elias being lined up to be Raw's top heel, they, as in WWE, could very well start his mega push by having him challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at Money in the Bank. I would very much like that decision. Get someone new in there other than Roman, Joe, and Strowman. I really like the decision. I would prefer Balor because I really want to see Balor versus Lesnar, but I will take Elias. And if it was up to me, I would have Elias beat Brock Lesnar. And if they really want to even the odds for Elias, make it a no disqualification match. I very much like this decision, and I'm very much looking to see how Elias favors against Brock Lesnar, should they go through with this plan. Next, according to PW Insider, Danny Burch officially signed with WWE and will continue to work in NXT. Danny Burch, of course, has been doing some part-time work with Oney Lorcan in NXT, but now it is official. Danny Burch is now officially a member of the NXT roster, and him and Oney Lorcan are an official tag team. That is why I'm assuming that it is going to be a 6-man, winners-take-all tag team match at TakeOver Chicago 2 between Lorcan, Burch, Dunn, and the Undisputed Era. Next, according to PW Insider, Jason Jordan is expected to make his return to WWE programming later this month. So, with Jason Jordan making his return, that would further enhance the mid-card for Monday Night Raw. And Jason Jordan, he comes back as a heel. Jason Jordan can feud with Seth Rollins. They had that feud originally lined up for WrestleMania 34 until they swapped it for Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz. They could very well do Jason Jordan versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship, with Jason Jordan being a heel, and Jordan winning the Intercontinental Championship as a heel can further enhance his character and further enhance him as a wrestler, just as a whole. It would do nothing but good for Jason Jordan if he comes back as a heel and he challenges Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship going into possibly Extreme Rules in July or SummerSlam in August. And my final report, according to PW Insider coming out with a lot of interesting reports as of lately. Chris Jericho will be returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling this week. So for all of you Chris Jericho fans, you are going to get a special treat because Jericho is going to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And don't forget, Kenny Omega match. It was damn good. Well, let me tell you something. Chris Jericho could put on an even better match with Naito. So we could very well get the Chris Jericho-Naito match. This is actually following up on a report that I reported, I believe, a few months ago, where WWE did not want, or excuse me, New Japan Pro Wrestling did not want to rush the Chris Jericho-Naito match. They wanted to have it on a special occasion. So now we could very well get it on a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheDJ_Storms. Do not forget to like. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash Update last week if you missed it. Do not forget to check out the rundown for WWE co-branded pay-per-view Backlash, which I will be posting tomorrow. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. Thank you for joining me here, and I will see you tomorrow.